Welcome to the Sunday service of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where today we are taking a collective breath. Sighs of relief. I am Reverend Jacqueline Brett, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, your gender, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we welcome you. If you're new to this community, and especially if you're visiting with us today, we invite you to introduce yourself in the chat box by simply typing in your name. You'll find many people ready and willing to welcome you. You'll also find a link there that will help you to learn more about us. And we invite you to join us at today's Inquirers class for visitors and newcomers, which occurs at 12 noon on Zoom. The Zoom link for today's class can be found on the homepage of ERUUF.org in the events section. Though our Sunday morning services are being produced from the sanctuary, they continue to be live streamed only as we do our part to slow the spread of COVID-19. Unless otherwise announced, all programs will continue as they have online. You can find out more about all of this and information about what's going on in upcoming weeks at ERUUF.org. We did want to bring your special attention to the blood drive we are hosting next Saturday, November 14th. Donating blood is considered to be an essential civic duty during a pandemic because blood donations are vital to all communities. All donors will also receive a free screening for COVID-19 antibodies after every completed donation. However, you must make an appointment to participate. Blood drive staff will be taking all necessary precautions to ensure safety. For more information and to make an appointment to donate, please go to the events section located at the lower part of the homepage at ERUUF.org. This morning's service is jubilantly led by Reverend Deborah Kerr, and we will welcome our newest members this morning as well. Yes, people are still joining ERUUF even in times such as these, or maybe because of times such as these. So we will welcome our new members this morning. On this Sunday and throughout November, our offering beyond our regular pledges will be in support of Urban Ministries of Durham. You'll learn more about Urban Ministries and how to give during the service. Today's music is presented by Riverfolk, and Kate Lewis is on piano. Today's tech team is Daniel Trollinger and Michelle Sager with Stephen. Stephen, I can't remember your last name. Stephen Daniel on sound. It's a wild morning, folks. It's a wild morning. But anyway, Stephen Daniel is on sound. Daniel and Michelle are handling our technology. And so I invite us all now to center ourselves. And let's all take a deep, deep breath in and let it out. And let us begin our service.
Ours is the simple faith, life is a short embrace, heaven is in this place, every day. Lord, you will, thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear, no judgment. justice and love our creed. Black lives and human need, nurturing every seed, every day. Beloved community, living in harmony, this is our ministry every day. Ours is a simple faith, life is a short embrace, heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till, make each day what you will, thankful for dreams fulfilled every day.
Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Hope is the ground we till, thankful for dreams fulfilled. Justice and love our creed, Black lives and human need. Beloved community, living in harmony every day. Every day. This morning, we give thanks for the ceaseless work for democracy by Black women throughout our history. We don't know all of their names, but their vision and dedication have inspired countless millions and have brought us to this day. Today, we give thanks for the organizing genius of Stacey Abrams and the leadership of Kamala Harris. They've both reminded us this past week that they stand on the shoulders of countless brown, Black, Asian, Latina, white, Native, all American women who came before them, who with love and courage made a way out of no way. And they have invited all of us, to join them. And together, we are going on.
Yes. And our chalice lighting this morning is by Jamie Yandel, who writes, "We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love." Our next hymn is "We'll Build a Land," recorded this past spring by some of our Eno River singers.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, live and create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them gardens instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, live and create peace, where justice shall roll down anointed by God, may and create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like hopes of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build a land, my people we seek. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may and create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
At this time, we're so happy that Trish Barron is able to be with us this morning to offer a reflection on membership. Good morning, Trish. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. What a joyful morning. It's great to be here. It was wonderful for Nathan and I to drive onto the campus this morning and just feel the joy and the warmth and the connection. My husband Nathan and I first started coming to ERUUF quite a few years ago when our children were young. We were looking for a spiritual home where we could honor our respective religions. Nathan was born and raised Jewish, and I was raised Catholic, and also a place where we could worship and celebrate as a family. It didn't take us long to realize that we were truly welcome here. As I reflect back on our years here at ERUUF, what bubbles to the top is the comfort, the connection, and the care that we've experienced here. Comfort in knowing that we were welcome here and that we didn't need to abandon our religious heritages to be welcome here. Instead, we found ways to integrate our pasts into Unitarian Universalist teachings. Comfort also comes to mind when I think of our kids' very positive experiences with RE. Every Sunday, we were comfortable knowing that our kids were learning and growing in community and were treated with great respect and dignity. They were surrounded by great role models and benefited greatly from the neighboring faiths curriculum, which I did too, the OWL program, and coming of age. When thinking about connection, I reflect back on the friends that we've made here and the richness of this community. We've also participated in the auctions and other fun activities, and I've also been a mentor in the coming of age program. If you've not yet had the opportunity to do that, I strongly encourage you to do so. It is a powerful way to contribute to the youth of this community and to your own spiritual growth. Spending time with this group has given me hope for our future, and for that, I'm so very grateful. It is also important to us that ERUUF is connected to the larger Durham community and beyond. And my third C, care. We even have a care minister. Wow. Caring for each other is one of our deeply held beliefs, and the care that we feel and show for each other is so evident in many ways. This happens both formally and informally, a shout out for the caring committee, and in everyday actions that we have with each other. And so, I guess it's finally time for the fourth C, and that's commitment. While we've been actively involved at ERUUF and supporting its many efforts over the years, somehow we never got around to signing the book and formally becoming members. We're looking forward to continuing our commitment and to being able to vote here at ERUUF. During these challenging times, we've been ever more grateful for this community and for the dedication of the ministers and the staff. Thank you for all that you've done to make this a welcoming and safe place, and for going above and beyond to make sure that our community can stay connected and deeply caring. It has made a huge difference for us and for many.
You can just stay there. Nathan, want to come up? And Flynn. So at this time, Reverend Brett and I, along with Flynn McSherry, the chair of the membership team, and Trish and Nathan, we're going to welcome our newest members. Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship is a spiritual community that's dedicated to the search for truth and compassionate ways of living. We have no creeds here. Our covenant is what holds us together, our promises and our commitment to what is the best and for the greatest good. We follow many spiritual paths. We join together, though, in one living tradition, our faith, Unitarian Universalism. At certain points in the year, we celebrate the decision of the folks who've decided to sign the book and make a commitment to join this fellowship. As you've heard, for some folks, this is an easy decision. They decide right away. Others take a little time. And that's perfectly fine. It's all good, and we are overjoyed. We are just overjoyed. Jacqueline is going to read the names of our newest members now, and as each name is read, the image of the new member will appear on the screen.
And so we are
We welcome you as friends and companions in this congregation. We are a diverse group of individuals bound together by our common quest, our common needs, and our common values. May you grow in your sense of belonging as you take your place in this community.
in joining this congregation, you will become stewards and trustees of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. What happens here now and in the future will be because of your initiative, your hard work, your stewardship, and your imagination. So I urge you to learn all you can about our tradition and to develop your own sense of who you are as a Unitarian Universalist. And I urge you always to bring here the passion of your dreams and your highest hopes. Welcome.
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 So let's affirm the bonds of unity now and our covenant which we make with one another.
Good morning. I'm Steve Crescenzo.
And I'm Susan Crescenzo. We would like to offer this reflection of our ongoing support of the services that Urban Ministry provides to our community. As a family, we have been supporting Urban Ministry for over 10 years. through financial contributions as well as service projects, including the Food Lion Shuttle, casserole preparation, facility improvements, and volunteering at Empty Bowls.
By far, one of our most rewarding efforts has been being volunteer coordinators for ERUUF's 2 monthly meal commitments at the community kitchen. Working with a team of 8 to 10 volunteers, ERUUF prepares and serves hot, nutritious meals for up to 200 people twice a month. The meal is offered free of charge to the residents of the shelter, as well as to any members of our community that are in need of this most basic sustenance.
The gratitude expressed by those served is heartwarming, but the realization of the needs of this population is heartbreaking. Watching a young mother carefully saving the uneaten portions of her and her child's meals, hearing the stories of disabled veterans, or feeding a family due to an unexpected layoff or medical issue deeply touches each of our team members. It is vital that we continue to support this effort.
Under the careful stewardship of Bo Glenn, ERUUF has been able to provide a hearty meal to nearly 400 people a month at a very reasonable cost. This is possible due to the work of the many volunteers, as well as the contributions of our casserole team. With the onset of COVID, however, this effort has been greatly impacted. In order to protect the residents as well as our volunteers, in-person meal preparation and distribution has been suspended. Instead, ERUUF is now paying a catering company to prepare 400 to-go meals each month. As you can imagine, the cost of this catering is significantly higher, even with the generous discount we were receiving from the catering company, and our budget is severely strained.
We urge you to please make a contribution today so that ERUUF can continue to support the vital services provided by Urban Ministries to our neighbors in the Durham community.
Thank you.
So I also want to add that the good news that we have had an anonymous donor declare a matching gift. So they are donating for every $500. They will match every dollar up to $500 towards Urban Ministries. So we encourage you to give today, and we will. You'll find out more later in the service on exactly how to do that. So our reading this morning is by Mark Bellatini, and it is called Election Promises. I hear the polls are going to be open on Tuesday, all day. Good. I certainly intend to go to them. I certainly invite you to go to them and vote too. But today, I say the polls are not just open on Tuesday. I say they are open every day, every hour, every here, even now. Right now, I am going to vote for the robin's egg sky, the vanilla clouds, the purple shadows spreading under the ginkgo tree. I'm going to vote for tulips and redbuds. I'm going to vote for love that does not have to run in someone else's circles in order to be love. I'm going to vote the homeless into homes. I'm going to vote the uneducated into classrooms and teach them in the way they learn best, not the way the world that would be most convenient. I'm going to vote the sick into healing. I'm going to vote the lost into belonging. I'm going to vote right now for the right to dream of a world where the word politics doesn't stop me in my tracks, and where the word honor still has a few good meanings left. I'm going to vote right now for the power of free people to actually be free, no matter who they are, no matter who has abandoned them, no matter who hates them. I actually am going to vote for love. I'm going to vote for truthfulness as the norm, not the exception. I'd like to vote for a world that doesn't vote for killing, control, and swagger. I'm going to vote for you. I'm going to vote for me right now, right here, silently, but for real. Those are the words of Mark Bellatini. And I invite you at this time to join me for these words of meditation. On this beautiful fall morning, we open our hearts to gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. We open our hearts to gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. For the beauty of this day and golden light that glints off leaves in wondrous hues, we feast our eyes upon and which cascade to earth, having done their service, making way for the labors of that which shall come in new birth and evolution. Gratitude for the old brave ones whose lives in gorgeous hue have cascaded to earth so that each one of us might be free, bringing forward our offerings of care, compassion, and determination to lead, to thrive, to increase the ocean of love. Gratitude for the relieved spaces of our hearts in this moment, on this day, as the light glints golden upon leaves of possibility in this powerful time of change. We lift up the joys, milestones, and concerns held in the heart of each person of this community. We offer energies of healing for those in need of healing, energies that comfort those in need of comforting, and energies of joy and celebration for those of us who wish to celebrate. May we never give up holding in active and determined hope, in faith and love, and a willingness to be and do what is required to sustain it. May courage be infused in us all. And let us now hold all of these things in our hearts for a moment of silence. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
How are you doing? It seems we ask that of each other a lot lately, and that we really pause to listen to what each other have to say. And this is so important because caring about each other and having real, genuine relationships with each other is absolutely a cornerstone of democracy, along with so much else, of course. The writer and ecologist Terry Tempest Williams writes, "The human heart is the first home of democracy. It is where we embrace our questions. Can we be equitable? Can we be generous? Can we listen with our whole beings, not just our minds, and offer our attention rather than our solutions?" So, how are you doing? Did you cry this past week? If so, what do your tears tell you about what you care about? Yesterday afternoon, just after Pennsylvania was declared for President-elect Biden, Anderson Cooper turned to another CNN political analyst, Van Jones, and he asked, "Van, what are your thoughts?" And Jones cleared his throat, and he slowly said, It's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad this morning." And he teared up as he continued, "It's easier to tell your kids that character matters, to tell them the truth matters, to tell them that being a good person matters." And as Jones continued to wipe away his tears in a shaking voice, he said, "This is a good day for people who have suffered. You know, I can't breathe. That wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people who felt they couldn't breathe." He said, "You go to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism to you are getting nastier and nastier. And you worry about your kids, and you worry about your sister. And you spend so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And so this is a big deal, to be able to get some peace and to have a chance for rest. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day. But for a whole lot of people, this is a good day." Van Jones. The world is a better place because of men who are in touch with who they are and what they love, who aren't afraid to show their deepest feelings. This is how you make room in your heart for an opponent, how you're able to view them as a person who deserves respect just as you do. This is how you set a higher standard and how you entice people to join you on that higher ground. Our feelings are messengers. They bring us important information, sometimes in the form of tears. And when we sit with this, when we're present to whatever information has arrived, we can find astonishing gifts and resources in it. Terry Tempest Williams writes, "The heart is the house of empathy, whose doors open when we receive the pain of others. This is where bravery lives, where we find our mettle to give and receive, to love and be loved, to stand in the center of uncertainty with strength, not fear, understanding that this is all there is. The heart is the path to wisdom because it dares to be vulnerable in the presence of power." And she continues, "Democracy depends on engagement, a first-hand accounting of what one sees, what one feels, and what one thinks, followed by the artful practice of expressing the truth of our times through our own talents and gifts and vocations." Terry Tempest Williams. Our feelings are one of our greatest strengths because they are the true ground for our attention, our love, and our action. A couple of weeks ago, during the Supreme Court confirmation hearings, I was so angry I swung into action. I joined a phone bank. I signed up to be a vote protector. I donated to Black-led organizations that were fighting uphill battles in both directions. And at one point, I realized that being angry just didn't feel so great. I was spending all of my energy trying to hold it together. And as a result, I wasn't able to bring the better parts of myself to what I was trying to accomplish. And so I thought about why I was so angry. And I realized, in part, it was because I truly, deeply value fairness. And I really dislike it when people use their power as a weapon to get what they want. It seems that some people are so afraid of change that they're throwing most of the rest of us into a pile, and they're climbing on top of us to try and scramble to something like safety. I don't know. But this is an old way of acting. At its rancid worst, it's slavery and human trafficking, the horrific theft of human freedom and dignity and labor. The scramble to the top to be safe at the expense of others is ugly. And yet, so often it appears couched in good manners, in very good clothes, in plush offices, in polished social settings. It's a pattern of interacting that is actually imprinted throughout our whole society and inside each one of us. I dislike it most when I discover it inside myself and in my reactions. We need courage sometimes to face these unimaginably hard, overwhelmingly ugly things whenever we discover them. Power used in this way is frightening. 2 years ago, Stacey Abrams lost the state of Georgia governor's race to a man who used his power as Secretary of State to suppress the vote of Black and brown people so that he could win the election by just the narrowest of margins. Abrams fought so hard, and she was favored to win, and yet still she lost because her opponent and the party around him engaged in voter suppression. If everyone had been able to vote, she would have won. And the ugliness of that theft was out there for all who, as the Bible says, had eyes to see and ears to hear. So what could she do? Go rogue? Get violent? Give up? She could have done any of those things. But instead, Abrams says she let herself mourn, really mourn, for like 10 days. And then she got to work. She got to work building the strongest, most effective voter registration and support organization that Georgia has ever seen. Abrams found a way, or she made a way out of no way when all the odds were stacked against her. She created a new, highly effective way to do voter registration and get out the vote in Georgia. She didn't do it alone. She brought other people in. She did it with others. But because of her incredible leadership these past 2 years, more citizens voted, and the election outcome was different this time. Some of us have been really scared or really mad. And all of us have been so overwhelmed this year. A little bit of that can be a kick in the butt that gets us going. I am so inspired by all of you who made calls, sent text, registered voters, raised money for nonprofit voter protection groups, drove people to the polls, volunteered or took on temporary jobs as poll workers, signed up to be vote protectors and poll observers. Kudos to the lawyers and law students and professors among us who worked with election officials to get the ballots corrected in Black and brown communities. They also staffed call centers to answer voter questions, resolved polling place issues quickly, and they were prepared to go to court if needed. Thank you. Thank you all. Your calls and your other actions made a big difference, despite desperate acts of voter suppression that ranged from divisive, dangerous tweets from the current president to thousands of anonymous, malicious texts that were sent to Black and brown voters on Election Day, advising them to stay home, be safe. It was a lie. Your actions created a new awareness in communities and strengthened the sense of what is right and good. And this made a difference when a local North Carolina sheriff ordered his officers to pepper spray citizens, including people who use wheelchairs and babies in their parents' arms, while they went together in a peaceful, joyful Souls to the Polls march last Sunday afternoon. That was outrageous and despicable voter suppression. But we, the people, would not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we, the people, were not dissuaded. We, the people, were not deterred. More people showed up to the march with voters 2 days later, and the public outcry over the sheriff's abuse of power created greater safety that day so that hundreds of citizens were able to safely vote. John Lewis would have been so proud of you. The vote is the most powerful, nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society, he wrote in the last hours of his life. Democracy is not a state, it's an act. Well, you faced overwhelming, scary, infuriating things, and still you found a way to show up and act in beautiful, powerfully good ways, loving ways. When our actions are rooted in love, we tap into a powerful energy source. It's powerful enough to transform hurt and sorrow into quiet conviction, pain and suffering into determination. It's powerful enough to dissolve anger and fear so that we can touch and hold once again what we truly love, everything that gives our lives meaning and hope. This can be a feeling, a great one for sure, and even more. This is an energy field, a sacred source that we can tap into for courage and strength in the days ahead. And in the days ahead, we are going to need this because the election is over, but our nation is so divided, and this did not just happen. This came to be by careful design and strategy. People who are afraid of change have doubled down on old racist practices and refined the playbook. They've made this about us and them, and that is a dangerous strategy. History tells us that it is a very short distance from us and them to not being able to see the humanity and the human rights of the person that you have decided is not like you. Atrocities all too easily begin when we start down the path of us and them. So our spiritual work in the coming time is to resist this dangerous pull into us and them, even if someone else we don't agree with has started it first. Our spiritual work is to find ways to use our power so that it does not harm or diminish other people, especially people we might not like very much, who we think are not really like us. When we come across this in ourselves, we have to resist the urge to cause harm. Our work now might be as simple as biting back our sarcasm or refusing to entertain our own cynicism. We also need to expose this and call for it to halt when we hear it among our friends and our families. In an ideal world, we can work to find ways to listen across our differences to create greater understanding. But for now, the best we may be able to do is simply to see the humanity of the people who leave us feeling most angry. Finding the humanity of people that we don't like very much. We don't have to like them. We don't have to like what they do. We do not have to put up with harassment or abuse, but we are called to recognize their humanity as equal to our own when we respond to them. When they go low, we go high, Michelle Obama told us. And look what that philosophy did for her and her family. She has suffered so greatly at times, but her efforts over time have made her one of the most admired and beloved leaders, not just in our country, but in the entire world. She did not take the high road for that prize. She took it because it's the right thing to do. She took that road because it helps create what she loves so much, which is the common good. Terry Tempest Williams writes, "We are in need of a reflective activism born out of humility, not arrogance. Reflection with deep time spent in consideration of others. This is what opens the door to becoming a compassionate participant in the world." Democracy is a system that's designed to recognize and protect the inherent worth and dignity of other people, and it also helps us maintain the common good, the interdependent web of life. That's why democracy is so important to Unitarian Universalists. It's inclusive, it's respectful. And we have had to fight to enlarge the circle of who is included in the common ground. But that good fight, that good trouble, is some of the best of what we do. Democracy is an action, John Lewis told us in his last hours, in his legacy to us. And democracy will stay vibrantly healthy if we act with care, respect, and dignity, no matter how others behave or what they do. We have got this awesome power, and we can use it for the greater good and the preservation of this precious thing, this democracy. And so today, we say yes to love once more, and we move forward together with love as our guide. Blessed be. Every week we come here and we join together to create beloved community, the world as it could be if we share and if we care. Here we give of our time and our talent and our treasure to help make our vision thrive. Our pledges today support this beloved community. Contributions, in addition to regular pledges, will be given to the urban ministries of Durham for meals for our neighbors and for whatever else they might need. This is how we create beloved community. And remember, an anonymous donor has offered to match donations up to a total of $500. So our collective $500 becomes $1,000. What's not to love? Love in action. The river folk are here again with the offertory.
Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down
When we're guided by love, we turn round right. We give thanks for all the gifts so generously given that help to weave the fabric of this beloved community and help us weave ourselves into the larger community beyond our doors. It's a good thing. Our final, what are we doing next? Because I just somehow lost it on my, let me just find it here. Yes, our final hymn this morning. We have a final hymn. It's Come and Go With Me. It's an African American spiritual arranged by Kenny Smith. Your words will be on the screen. You can sing along.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
We will not tell you that we just had a dance party in the sanctuary. We will not. We hope you were dancing and singing along at home. It's a day for dancing and singing. In 1978, on August 9th, June Jordan made a statement to the United Nations. It was called, it was her poem for South African women, and in that poem was the phrase, "We are the ones we have been waiting for." That line resonated with people, and since 1978, it has come to be part of our more common consciousness. Our closing words today are by Kimberly Quinn Johnson, and she says, "We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future, and may we do it together. Blessed be, Ashe, Amen. Go forth with love, go forth with joy and confidence. Amen."